Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Where do I put the tea mug? Hang on a second. Oh well, you try and do these trite, little intros and then blow up in your face. Right, today we have a review and it's from a business called Grumbler Miniatures, run by a guy called Alan. Now, I would have put this in the description, but let's say it verbally. This 6mm figure, or these 6mm figures were sent to me by Alan to review. Now, I believe it's the first one I've ever done where somebody's actually asked me to review something. I said to, this was all over Facebook Messenger, he approached me, and I said to him then, as I say to him now on this video, or any of you guys tubesters listening, I've only ever done this one, I believe, in my head, I might have done another one, but I don't think I have. If I say something, it's how I see it. I said it to him, back on the messenger. By all means, send me what you want to send me, but the words will be my own. Yes, you can say that obviously Alan gets advertising in a way out of it, and hopefully some sales from it, and I hope he does, because it's a great little product. But they are my views, and if I think there's something particularly wrong with them, or even just marginally wrong with them, you'll hear it. So what he never asked me to paint any figures. He just said, can I send you some figures? And the poor guy's had to wait months literally for a review, just because I decided I was going to paint. He'd sent me more or less what I would call a brigade, which you can make 4 battalions up from, so up down on the bench ready for filming. And with 6mm particularly, they're so small that shiny metal under the lights, you don't always see a great detail. So I just thought, no, I'll paint them up. Well, of course, Gavin just couldn't paint up one stand. I thought, well, if I'm painting one stand, I might as well paint a brigade up. But unfortunately, I'm chock-a-block with commission work. I've got all my other bits and pieces. We've got Star Wars figures appearing. We've got the Voltigeurs still being painted, which will be painted later on in the week for another video. Yes, another one. We've got 1 in 35mm, 1 in 35 scale Sherman tanks almost being completed. All that stuff. So he's just had to wait as I put them on the desk, and I've literally added bits and pieces onto them as well. And yes, I'm also painting 30-year wars from Mez's Minis as well. So it's just as and when. And he understood that. I personally, I must admit, I didn't think it would take this long to do like one of my videos. But unfortunately, them's the breaks. But we're here. We've got Alan's video up. So join me at the bench where we're going to review some 6mm Napoleonic figures from Grumbler Miniatures. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Alan sent me the infantry that you see in front. That's the red coats. We've got he sent me they weren't in production at the time, or ready for sale anyway. I do believe Alan casts all these himself, as he said he had to learn how to cast figures and that type of thing. So all kudos to him. He did send me these 95th rifles, so I put those up just on the front, just to show them off as well, as they were all foot figures. But he's also sent me some cavalry. I haven't got around to painting those yet, and I will be painting them. I just haven't had the time yet. And also a small stand, which are halfway painted, of Wellington and some mounted colonels. But let's have a look at the painted ones first. It'll just be easier for you to see under the lights, I think. So we've got 95th rifles. Easier under the lights, he says. Green in green background, but I did some American Revolutionary War figures a while ago from Bacchus, and as you know, the Bacchus heads are always slightly larger. These are all in scale, and that's not knocking the Bacchus figures. I'm just saying that's what they are. These are all in scale. Now, if you suddenly think, oh my life, look at that, I can't get the figures in, the faces in much more, but look at the tiny faces. They really are the easiest thing in the world to paint. It's I personally wouldn't put a dark shadow colour on the faces because they're just too small to really see, as in massive facial. I mean, they have got some facial detail in there, but you're not going to see them when it's painted. So I just went for a medium flesh tone and then a very bright, what they call it, base flesh from Vallejo or something like that, just to finish them off. I couldn't see, I mean, they're all brand new sculpts, so I mean, you wouldn't expect a lot of flash on them, but there wasn't any flash on them. Mould lines, there must be some mould lines, but they are so tiny, I mean, I wouldn't even be trying to take them off. There was nothing there that I thought, these really need attending to. The bases, sorry, the figures when they're on their line of bases, there's a clear, clear marking between each figure, and you can just snip those off with a pair of snips. But as I say, I just decided to do the full Monty and actually get them all just based, so you could get an idea really. As you see, they come in a different, not just different poses, but different headgear. And we've got some without plumes and cords, with a bit of a scrunched up shako. So yeah, very nice. No complaints with those whatsoever. Apologies for my poor attempts at hand painted flags. They really were just to finish the unit off. Stout poles for the colours. I called them flags then. Wash my mouth, that was so. British Army never calls them flags. Colours, stout poles. I don't mind that because the colours there help show the unit, especially when they're on the table. But they were quite stout, so I was quite pleased with those. By the way, I've done these as a Guards Brigade, so they're all the same turnbacks, facing colours. He does them in different scales of units as well, so you can have them as larger units or the smaller ones like this, the 24s. No, I wasn't going to paint any Guards emblems on the back. But no, it's all there. The cords on the shakos are there, and as I say, they're not actually as bad to paint as you'd think. Bearing in mind, Gav painted these. I can't believe I've had a bulb blow on my painting lamp. I've got one of those big overhead painting lamps, and it's not the older. It's not the LED. It's the older bulb version, and I painted most of these on 2 bulbs rather than 3, thinking my eyesight was just getting worse. It's the blasted bulb. So if I can paint 6mm with only a certain amount of lighting, they're not hard to paint. But all the cross belts are there. The same over the great coats. I go for fairly bright colours, as I said to you on the last ones I did. I've kept not that it matters, we're doing a review here, but the basing, I've done them a bit darker than I did on those American Revolutionary War figures. But I believe he's got Prussians. You'll have to go. I mean, I'll obviously put a link to his website and to his. I keep forgetting he's got a YouTube channel as well. But it does Prussians. I think he's even got a bit of American Civil War, and I'm not sure. I've got to be careful because I haven't got the site up in front of me. But I believe he may also be doing some 10mm as well. Again, the bases are nice and they're not too. You get some bases I don't like on 6mm. They get too high, and you struggle to get them to sit together. So you could push these right up to each other more or less. Some people like them in that more jam-packed formation. I just prefer, if you're going to do a small unit, I just prefer to keep them spread out a bit so they fill the base up a bit more. But you could put them together. I don't know if Alan does any casualty figures, but it'd be nice to have a couple of casualty figures that you could dot around the bases. These are the 60 by 30 bases, I believe, of my own, and what I found was that, as you can see, they're really close up, so you might have to, if you're using 60 by 30s, you may have to just snip the end of the base off. I only did it after I stuck them all on. Well, not after, but what I should have done was actually cut off the bases at either end, and then they would have sat further in by a few more mil. But you know, it's a review. That's what they're there for. So that's the painted. There's no point me showing you more because they are all the same. So bear with me a second. I'll knock the camera off and we'll have a look at them in the raw. Right, guys, all change over. Let's have a look at the French cuirassier. So these are the French cuirassier in 6mm. There's a very, let's just have a look at that. I have looked at them once, but it's been a while ago. A very odd little blowhole there underneath, but they're underneath, that's fine by me. These are, sorry, I've got static grass now all over me, because they haven't actually, that last units I showed you haven't been varnished. Well, they've been varnished, but I usually blow a coat of varnish over them, so I'm afraid we've got static grass over everything. But again, that's the little guys in unpainted glory. I will be painting these up. He's getting an extra video out of me, again without asking. I just fancy painting the cavalry up, I just haven't had time yet. But I will paint these up and we'll have a look at them, all of the cavalry that I've got he sent me. I just think these 6mm are fantastic for the whether you want to call it an epic scale, whatever, you know, if you don't have a lot of room, I've said it before with the others, if you don't have a lot of room, you know, you can throw a fair amount of units on a small table, or if you're playing large games, they really do great on the mass effect, and they don't take massively long to paint. I would say you've still got to be a bit neat with them, or as neat as you want to be, but try and maybe use sometimes the colours are slightly bit brighter than the uniform would normally be, just so you get that, you know, that they pop a bit more on the table. So that's your rank and file with the sabre shouldered. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 of those. There's 10 in the bag I got was 10. Now I don't know if Alan, because I just said send me whatever you want me to review, but there's 10 in that bag. This is the officer. Very nice. Apologise for the grubby fingernails, but that's unfortunately that's what you get with me. Come on, focus camera. I'm not very happy with this camera. It creaks like crickets all through my videos, but I'm stuck with it for a while. Trumpeter. See, we've got a couple of blowholes there. They'll need either a bit of filler in them, or if you're not really fussed as they are underneath, you probably won't see them, especially once they're based and you've got a bit of static grass on there. Won't be the first I've seen like that. I can't see particularly anything on the figures. Now, I did the hand painted colours on the British infantry, and this guy's got one, you know, that's actually, well, you'll have to hand paint it probably, or put some type of paper flag on, but you could always make one up out of white paper. I mean, all mine are just standard white paper. In fact, I think I cut them off for some GMB designs, stuff I was putting on for a client, and I've got a bit of paper that they get wrapped around in, and I just cut those up. But you could, you know, if you didn't want to paint that, I mean, let's face it, it's fairly easy to get a basic tricolor or tricolor. But if you didn't, you can always just wrap some paper around that's pre-painted, bit of white glue on it. So that's our cuirassier. I can never pronounce it. Apologise to my French friends. Yes, I do have a few. And we've got French Guard chasseurs. Again, we've got there colour bearer. Really nice little figures these, I like these a lot. And that's not, you know, again, it's a honest review. I do like them. At first, I have to say, after doing the Bacchus ones with the larger heads, I saw the little faces on these and I thought, oh my life, try to paint these. But to be honest with you, again, all you're doing is just painting the entire little surface area with whatever colour you decide. As I say, I personally wouldn't go as dark a shade as I would have done on the Bacchus, because the faces are in scale, if that makes sense. So I would hit them with something like a medium flesh tone, or even, let me just pull it out, what we got here, light brown from Vallejo, which is that darker brown, which I often use as a base for figures, and then just put like a basic flesh tone on, because let's face it, you ain't going to see a lot, especially when they've got a sabre up like that and they're wearing a whatever particular headgear they're wearing at the time. Just need to clean up the base. And some of them aren't as bad. Some of them, this one's a bit more chunkier, but again, it's nothing major. Got the little pouring. Is it there? Or is my eyes deceiving me? Oh no. That one's got a bit of flash, or mold, well, not so much flash, but mould line. Let me just get me scalpel. Something like that on a horse, I would probably just get a round, you know, rat file, tail file, and just go in like that, just to make it a bit more prettier. But again, that's up to you at 6mm. So I think that's about those I've shown. There's probably been an officer in there that I've either shown or haven't shown, but musician again. No, I'm not painting the lace. Any smart mouth, hey Gav, paint the lace. Right, I didn't do it on those foot guards that I've just shown you. Not a chance. I did practice one, but it really wasn't worth it. You know, no, just basic facing colour, that'll do me. This guy, I'm trying to show who's who. Yeah, so we've got, I mean, there could be any divisional, general. I know they say mounted colonels, but the others I'm getting through painting, so you'll see those when I do the cavalry. Very nice. Again, is that a hole there? It's going to have to need some filling. And we've got Wellington, I believe. Again, just need to cut that off and give it a file down. That's a lovely little pose, isn't it? Very dynamic. This old Beaky himself. So, there you go, guys. That's my long-awaited review from Alan at Grumbler Miniatures. Let me get that out a bit. That's the website, but I will put a... Come on, there we go. I will put a link to the website and a link to Alan's Grumbler Miniatures YouTube channel. But I can't say anything against them. The cavalry, there was a couple of pinholes in them. You know, if that can be improved on, great. I don't know. I'm not a caster. I don't know. They're not the first I've seen on. It seems to be on very small figures. I've had a lot of 10mm that have had the same thing, so I'm not overly concerned on that. There wasn't a lot. Some of them are in positions where even I wouldn't bother filling them. Not on 6mm. You know, you're not going to see them. I mean, take these guys here. You know, once you've got some static grass, and this is 1mm static grass from Knock Scenery. and which is my standard one for these size guys, and 10 mils. Yeah, once you've got that up and around them, I mean, you can see they're half buried into this stuff anyway. So on a you know, on a horse figure, you aren't going to really see them. So thank you very much, Alan, for sending those along to me. I appreciate it. It was nice to have a paint of them, even if we were a bit pushed for time. I hope I'll put a couple of photographs, not that you can see any more difference really, but we'll put some photographs up at the end. As you can see, even from this distance, you can just about make out the yes you can, yes you can, I can see him from here, the blue of the facing colour for the Royal Regiments. Again, slightly lighter than they would have been in real life. The reds are slightly brighter. I don't go to town and try to make him an orangey red or whatever. It is, you know, enough to get him to stand out. So thanks a lot. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of videos at the moment, but it's a video channel. So look after yourselves. If you're in the market for some 6mm figures, please go and check out Grumbler Miniatures. I don't mind saying that whatsoever. Very impressed with them. So, you know, they've got my stamp of approval, if that means anything to you. But I see a lot of figures, I paint a lot of figures of all scales, as you all know, and I will shout it out. Even figures I like painting, like the ABs and that, if the moulds are getting worn out, if they're, you know, if there's things wrong with them, like our guy the other day with the extra long arm that I painted, you know, it's got to be said, is, you know, at the end of the day, we're all customers. We all work hard. Well, most of you do, apart from myself. Work hard for your money, and I've always said, you know, people that have got businesses, whether it's like I was moaning the other day on the packaging side of things when they send them out, or, you know, to the things like, you know, I've been pulled up a couple of times by people when I've said things over different figures, and I say I'm not a fanboy. If at the end of the day, we all work hard, we all if we're handing over our hard-earned money, you know, we expect them to be up to scratch. You know, you don't expect with figures to have to do a ton of work to them to make them acceptable, and sometimes you do, and that isn't acceptable. So that's what I said. I've been mightily impressed with these little fellas, because I've done nothing to them. The only file work I've done on these, on the foot figures anyway, is just filing the bases a bit flatter so they'll take the glue. And these are stuck down with PVA, 10 minute fast acting PVA, and then sanded. Well, then slightly watered down PVA over the top, sand on top of them, and then another watered down PVA over the top of those. It makes them fairly rock solid. So yeah, I'm waffling now, but yeah, I'm very impressed. So I hope your business goes from strength to strength, Alan, because if you're going to knock out figures like this, then it deserves to. As I say, we all want people to succeed, you know, unless you're a real trog out there. You know, at the end of the day, times are blooming hard, and if we can give a helping hand up through putting our hard-earned money to somebody that is worthy of it, then all power to you. So good luck, Alan, with the business, and guys, we'll catch each other very soon on another video.